What's up, gamers and nerds? It's John of Video Games in the World with weekly news number 22. So this week, the final season of Amazon Prime's The Boys just premiered its 2 episodes, and I'm looking forward to next week. Not just for The Boys, but for the next episode of Invincible. In Amazon Prime, The Boys, Invincible, and Fallout is my trinity. While on Netflix, my trinity is Cobra Kai, Stranger Things, and Wednesday. Alright everyone, let us start with the weekly news. Amazon Prime has several critically acclaimed shows such as The Boys, Invincible, Fallout, The Man in the High Castle, Reacher, The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, The Wheel of Time, etc. But now, a new show has been greenlit, and it's a reboot of an iconic movie that premiered 39 years ago. I'm talking about the part man, part machine, all cop. It's none other than RoboCop. RoboCop is a movie that premiered in 1987, and I remember watching it when I was a kid. It was so dark, violent, gritty, and above all, it was amazing. Because that movie was so violent, me and my cousin and a friend of ours had to watch it without our moms coming in and freaking out at all the violence and gore. It was crazy. RoboCop became so well received that it spawned 2 sequels that weren't as good. A cartoon series in 1988, a Canadian live-action show in 1994 which lasted only 1 season, another cartoon titled RoboCop Alpha Command, and a Prime Directives TV series also made in Canada which was pretty bad, I must say. Then in 2014 we had a reboot which was pretty awful, to be honest. RoboCop is getting yet another reboot, this time as a TV series and not a movie. The showrunner of the show, being an Amazon Prime Video original, is Peter Oko, with James Wan as an executive producer. The plot is kind of like the movie, where a mega corporation partners with the police force of Detroit to fight crime with a robotic police officer. RoboCop is known to take place in a dystopian, not-too-distant future where the city of Detroit is plagued with crime and violence, and a mega corporation known as Omni Consumer Products, aka OCP, runs and funds the police department and take the mangled remains of an officer murdered in the line of duty to convert him into the ultimate crime-fighting cyborg, RoboCop. The RoboCop series is known to be a satirical yet critical take on capitalism and focuses on the themes of intersection of humanity and technology, corporate greed, identity, and the privatization of public services. Following the success of the video game RoboCop Rogue City, Peter Weller, who played as the iconic character in the first 2 movies, expressed interest in returning. I hope he does, because Peter Weller is RoboCop. In the same manner that Kevin Conroy, may he rest in peace, will always be the voice of Batman. Now, here's the thing. Usually, I'm not a big fan of reboots because most of them don't stay true to the originals, and at times, most showrunners and writers mess it up on purpose because they hated the originals and say shit like, "Fuck the fans in the original, I'm doing my own thing." Not all writers, directors, producers, and showrunners are like that, but some of them are, indeed. If they screw this up, I might just find some people to build Ed 209 to track them down and be authorized to use physical force against them. So please, don't screw this up. Thank you for your cooperation. Moving on to the next news. Digital Extremes, the developers behind the free-to-play video game Warframe, have stated in one of their interviews that they confirmed that absolutely nothing in their games will ever be AI generated, making it clear that they want everything to stay fully human-made. Well said, you guys. Very well said indeed. The studio's community director didn't hold back either, saying that they are a non-AI company and want to avoid even the risk of AI-generated content slipping into their work. This stance comes at a time when many studios are experimenting with AI tools, making Warframe stand out by going in the complete opposite direction. All I can say about this is that thankfully, this gaming company is seeing sense in human-made things and not in AI. As you can see, people nowadays are using AI not just in game development and workplaces, which is sad that they seek to replace human creativity with AI. Not to forget that they're seeking to replace human labor with AI. That is sad. Very sad. And some people use AI for their content on YouTube. Here's the thing. I am not like the best speaker and narrator, but at least I am not one to use AI. Fuck that piece of shit. I don't need AI to do my latest news, video essays, playthroughs, and live streams. A wise man once said, "I fear the day that when technology surpasses human interaction, the world will have a generation of idiots." And who is that wise man who said that? Albert Einstein. And history so far has proven him right. Think about it. People being glued to their smartphones that they don't pay attention to where they're going, and now AI. It's sad. Very sad. I fear the day when AI finally eradicated human creativity, it will lead to an artless and uninspiring generation. Hell, even James Cameron himself said that AI could end up leading the world into Terminator. Scary, isn't it? Metal Gear Solid is one of the most beloved and iconic video games of all time. It brought us the tactical espionage genre and inspired video games like Splinter Cell. Now, we live in an era where video game adaptations are becoming more and more common and popular as well. Well, sooner or later in the world of cinema, this could be the end of the superhero era now that video games are being adapted into the big screen and our home screens as well. Still, superhero movies seem to be staying for a long time. Anyways, Final Destination Bloodlines filmmakers Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein will direct a live-action feature film adaptation of Konami and Hideo Kojima's iconic video game franchise, Metal Gear Solid. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the duo are making the Metal Gear Solid movie for Sony's Columbia Pictures as part of a first-look deal between Sony Pictures and the filmmaker's new production company, Wonder Lab. To be honest, I never really got into Final Destination, one of my regrets growing up. I'm sure that those two talented directors can pull it off, I hope. Since 2012, there have been attempts to make a Metal Gear Solid movie, and it has been lingering in development hell ever since. Later, the director of Kong Skull Island was attached to direct the film with Oscar Isaac, starring as Solid Snake. Unfortunately, Jordan Vogt Roberts left. Avi Arad and Ari Arad will executive produce the film, but it's not set yet whether Oscar Isaac will play as Solid Snake. Let's see how this movie is going to turn out once we see a teaser in the future. Norman Caruso, who is also known as the gaming historian, has quit YouTube after 15 plus years of creating videos. I have seen many of his videos and it's very sad to see him go. In the first video he's uploaded since April 2024, he made the announcement in a brief video explaining his reasons. His last full video, which covered the Oregon Trail educational game, took years to make and left him in a state of burnout. At the time, the gaming historian decided to take a step away from the site and planned to go back to making videos part-time, expecting that the burnout would eventually fade and he would feel excited making them again. However, that didn't end up happening. The gaming historian was one of my main inspirations to start this channel, which this year turns 10. Although I have not made a landmark of 1,000 subs, I don't quit, even if it takes a lifetime. Patience is a virtue and Rome was not built in one day. So to Norman Caruso, all I gotta say to you is, thank you for everything in your amazing videos. Good luck to you. Captain Planet and the Planeteers is a cartoon series that I remember watching when I was a child. The cartoon was known back in the early 1990s for teaching kids to be more eco-friendly and stand against corporate greed, hatred, discrimination, and bigotry. Back in the 80s and 90s, the writers of these cartoons were not afraid to cross boundaries and also have a lot of tear-jerking and serious moments. For example, there was an episode about HIV in which the character infected with the disease was voiced by Neil Patrick Harris. Cartoons back then were not strictly for children and were not afraid to cross boundaries, unlike now. Most cartoons are shit nowadays, to be honest. Now, it turns out that Netflix is bringing back Captain Planet not as a cartoon, but as a live-action series. This show will bring back the legendary hero into a modern setting, but never forgetting the environmental action and planet-saving adventures. I wonder if Don Cheadle is going to play the character. Well, he did play the character in a parody. Hopefully they choose the right actors, not just for the character, but for the Planeteers as well. For the character of Gaia, my choice will be either Halle Bailey or Taraji P. Henson. Either one will be great. As for Captain Planet, given the current state of our world, with people ignorant of climate change and ignorant of the atrocities of shit leaders, we really need him now. We sure do. And now for the main event. Takaya Imamura, the legendary former Nintendo developer and art director of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, has expressed concerns about the upcoming live-action film based on the iconic series. The main reason for his anxiety is the possibility of the silent protagonist Link speaking. In his comments on social media, Imamura-san admitted that he is a little worried part of the magic of the Legend of Zelda series might be lost if the hero starts speaking fully in the movie. In his opinion, Link will most likely deliver lines but will still remain a largely taciturn character throughout the film. To be honest, I don't think that Link himself is mute. Why? Because we, the ones who are playing the games, are the ones doing all the talking for Link. In my honest opinion, it would be interesting to hear Link speak. That kid in me would nostalgically want Link to humorously say, "Excuse me, princess," like in the cartoons. In the video game The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, Link was heard saying, "Come on!" which shows us that he is not entirely mute. In Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, his only lines were, "I found a mirror under the table," when in the house in the water town of Saria, and in the town of Nabaru, on a fountain he says, "Want to drink some water?" and give it to a lady who says that she is thirsty in that town. Westball hinted the possibility that Link might speak in the movie, but he might remain the strong silent type and taciturn hero that we all know and love. So, what is your opinion on this? Should Link speak or not? Let me know in the comments below. Before we close, here's yet another sneak peek at the upcoming History of GTA video that I am working on. Grand Theft Auto Vice City was released on October 27, 2002 as a PlayStation 2 exclusive. Both Vice City and GTA 3 will be released in the following year on Xbox and PC. Grand Theft Auto Vice City served as a prequel to Grand Theft Auto 3 and set in a different city and era, 1980s Miami. This setting was inspired by media such as Miami Vice and Scarface. This game allowed players to not just drive cars, jeeps, trucks, and tanks, but it allowed players to ride motorcycles, pilot helicopters, and seaplanes as well. Upon its release, Vice City was a massive success for its new elements and the setting, as well as capturing the sun-washed avenues of Miami and also the clothing, styles, and slang words of the 1980s. While Claude was a silent protagonist, developers decided to give this game's protagonist a voice and a personality. The main protagonist, Tommy Vercetti, will be voiced by the late Ray Liotta of Goodfellas fame.
Wait, Sonny. You have my personal assurance that I'm going to get you your money back, and the drugs, and I'm going to mail you the dicks of those responsible. Hey.
The story is set in 1986. Tommy Vercetti was released from prison after completing a 15-year sentence. His old boss, Sonny Forelli, decides to send Tommy down to Vice City to supervise a drug deal. But then, the deal is an ambush, and two of Sonny's men are dead and Tommy escapes. Tommy would then begin a journey of taking over Vice City and become its biggest drug kingpin. Grand Theft Auto Vice City allows players to carry firearms, and new and powerful ones are introduced in this game. New melee weapons include a meat cleaver, screwdriver, hammer, knife, machete, golf club, brass knuckles, a katana sword, and even a chainsaw. The chainsaw is like a nod to the 1983 movie Scarface. Another nod to Scarface is where there is a motel where players can enter and see a bathroom with bloodstains on the walls, much like that scene in the movie. Much like its predecessors, players can go on missions or make some money by committing crimes, carjacking, and even using police cars, ambulances, taxis, and even pizza delivery bikes to make some money. Hidden packages can also give players some money, and the more they collect these packages, weapons are delivered to their safe houses. Stunt driving can also reward players with money. Another feature of this game is allowing players to change clothes as well. Players can also take over businesses, and once missions are completed for these businesses, they can obtain money from them. The music of the radio stations is comprised of songs from the 1980s performed by singers such as the late Michael Jackson, Kate Bush, Foreigner, Blondie, Tito Puente, the late Ozzy Osbourne, and so on. When it comes to movie references, the character of Ken Rosenberg bears a resemblance to David Kleinfeld from the movie Carlito's Way, who was played by Oscar winner Sean Penn. Both are crooked lawyers that are addicted to cocaine and work with the main characters. Ray Liotta was not the only big name in this game, as other names included William Fichtner, the late Tom Sizemore, Fairuza Balk, Deborah Harry, Robert Davi, Danny Trejo, Philip Michael Thomas, the late Dennis Hopper, and former adult film star Jenna Jameson. Much like its predecessor, Vice City was a successful video game. However, many detractors came out once again out of the woodwork to blame the game for society's ills. This time, the game was accused of promoting racism between Cubans and Haitians. In the game's first release, there were lines such as Humberto Robina and other Cuban gangsters espousing racism towards Haitians. Various Cuban American and Haitian American activists protested the game for such things. Not wanting any more problems with these activists, the game would later be updated by changing lines that espouse racism and prejudice. Jack Thompson will also denigrate the video game as well, but as usual, he will be debunked. Up to this day, many consider Vice City to be the best game in the saga of Grand Theft Auto 3, but its successor will be even more successful. And that's all for the weekly news, everyone. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Patreon, Facebook, and Discord. This is John of Video Games in the World signing off. Have a good one. Bye!